Most people live waiting for a big moment, as if life will change in a snap. A new job, a perfect relationship, an unexpected turn. But what if I told you that's not how change happens? That what truly transforms you is often so simple, you almost overlook it? While you search for magic formulas, the answer is already within your day, in the choice you repeat, in what you do when no one is watching. What changes your life isn't what you wish for, it's what you practice. And sometimes, a tiny habit, like waking up earlier, drinking a glass of water, or writing one thought a day, has more transformative power than years of reading without action. In this video, you'll understand why 30 days of a simple, powerful habit can reprogram your mind, reorganize your inner world, and kickstart your personal transformation. And the best part? You don't need to change everything. You just need to start with yourself. If these words have already stirred something inside you, write in the comments, "I choose to start today." So your journey begins right now, with intention and awareness. If this video brought you clarity, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and allow yourself to continue on this journey of personal growth and self-awareness. Some people think they need to start a revolution to change their lives. That something extraordinary will only happen if the heavens open, a great mentor shows up at their door, or they go on a retreat in the Himalayas. But the truth is, almost everything that truly transforms starts small, quiet, silent. It's like a drop of water that keeps falling on the same spot of a rock. No one notices at first, but over time, it shapes even the hardest materials. And with the mind, it's the same. You know that simple act of making your bed when you wake up? Or drinking a glass of water first thing in the morning? It might seem insignificant, but these actions signal to your brain, "Today, I'm in charge." They're small signs of discipline that build a new identity, quietly. Because what truly shapes a successful routine isn't the excitement of the start, but the silent commitment of an ordinary day. The world, in fact, responds to our patterns. And those patterns are formed by our repeated choices. With every decision, you declare who you're becoming. If you choose to act, even without motivation, even without applause, you're signaling to your mind that the direction has changed, that the old autopilot no longer serves you. This is where true personal transformation begins. In the overlooked detail, the invisible choice, the gentle discipline you practice when no one is watching. The power of a strong habit lies in its simplicity. It doesn't demand a leap into the void or require you to change everything at once. It just invites you to start. Reading a book a week might seem impossible, but a page a day isn't. Losing 20 pounds feels daunting, but saying no to sugar today, that's the first step. The secret lies in the humility to embrace time's rhythm and the courage to act anyway. It's like planting a tree. You dig a small hole, place the seed, water it a bit, and walk away. The next day, nothing. The day after, still nothing. But keep watering, day after day. A habit works the same way. It tests you. It wants to know if you're committed, even without immediate results. And when you persist, even without guarantees, that's when the magic begins. The problem is, we've learned to value what's too grand. We want applause, medals, big breakthroughs. But life change is rarely loud. It's shy, almost imperceptible. You become calmer, more focused, more disciplined, and you don't even notice. But others do, and the world starts treating you differently, because you treat yourself differently. These small actions don't just change your day, they shape your identity. You stop being the person who tries to change and become the one who is changing. And when that happens, you no longer rely on motivation. Because what you do every day, even when you're not motivated, is what defines you. The power of a habit lies in the repetition that reprograms you from within. Consistency has a power that intensity lacks. Doing something incredible for one day is easy. The hard part is doing the basics well for 30. That's why, when it comes to changing your life, the focus isn't on doing more, but on doing better. And better means with presence, with intention, with that subtle sense of purpose only those aligned with themselves can feel. Maybe you can't see it yet, but these small practices, done day after day, are rewriting how your mind works. Every time you follow through on a promise to yourself, even something tiny, you strengthen your self-esteem. That's self-awareness in practice. It's you observing yourself, respecting yourself, becoming someone reliable to yourself. That's why so many fail at 30-day challenges. They start in a rush and get frustrated by the lack of immediate results. But the secret isn't in seeing results on day 3. It's in trusting the process, in allowing the change to happen inside before it shows outside, in accepting that all true transformation is, above all, silent. And when you least expect it, what was once effort becomes habit. What was uncomfortable becomes routine. And what seemed impossible becomes part of who you are. Then you realize it wasn't a miracle, it wasn't an extraordinary event. It was repetition. It was patience. It was the daily decision to keep going even when no one else believed, including you. So, yes, life change exists, but it doesn't shout. It whispers, and you can only hear it when you quiet the noise of haste, doubt, and comparison. Because just ahead, when you allow yourself to trust today's small step, something bigger starts moving within you. And maybe you haven't even noticed what this small habit is about to unlock. There's a silent intelligence in our brain, a kind of invisible engineer that loves building tracks. Every time you repeat a behavior, that engineer notes, this matters to them, and it starts building a new path, a new neural route. But it doesn't work for free. It needs repetition, clear signals, intention. And guess what's the ideal time for it to take it seriously? 30 days. During this 30-day cycle, something called neuroplasticity kicks in. It's like your brain gets a renovation order. It starts disconnecting the old wires of procrastination, self-sabotage, and mental chaos, and rewires new circuits, discipline, focus, balance. It needs time, consistency, repeated energy. It's not a magic button. It's a physiological, emotional, and mental process that must be respected. That's why, when you commit to a powerful habit and push through the first days with resolve, your brain starts rewarding you with clarity, lightness, less resistance. The initial effort gives way to healthy automation. Willpower is replaced by naturalness. You start noticing that what was once sacrifice is now a need. That's how a new identity is born. When we talk about mental reprogramming, we're not talking about magic, but biology. The brain is malleable. It's not locked into a fixed shape. It responds to your behaviors like a child learning through repetition. And when you deliver a new pattern for 30 days, it understands it's not a test. It's a choice. And it starts working in your favor. It's like teaching a dog to sit. At first, it doesn't get it. After a few repetitions and positive reinforcement, it learns. Your brain works similarly. It's waiting for a clear command, a repeated action. And when you persist with kindness, it learns. It creates internal shortcuts, and what was once a rational effort becomes an emotional reflex. That's when the habit becomes part of you. 30 days is the time needed to move from the zone of curiosity to the zone of commitment. In the first days, you're testing, seeing if you can do it, negotiating with your old self. But when you pass the halfway mark, when you enter the second half with consistency, something shifts. You no longer want to go back, because the new starts feeling better than the old. And that, my friend, that's when the game changes. There's a saying. If you endure the pain of discipline for 30 days, you'll never feel the pain of regret again. And it makes sense, because regret lives where habits were abandoned too soon, where the seed was left before it could sprout. The 30 days are like the soil preparing the ground for a harvest you haven't even imagined yet. Here's a practical tip. If you want to become more disciplined, don't think about changing the world. Choose one simple habit and commit to it for 30 days. That's it. A glass of water, a page of reading, a no to an impulse. Something small but symbolic. The size of the change doesn't matter. What matters is the message you send to your mind. I'm someone who keeps their promises. That's what sparks personal transformation, commitment to the invisible, the micro, the detail. And that's what few have the courage to sustain. Because the world taught us to crave instant impact, the one-day miracle, the magic diet. But the real miracle happens in the invisible, in the silence, in time. And the brain respects that time. Science has proven it. Our neural system needs consistent repetition to solidify a new behavior. But the soul has known this for a long time. Every monk knows, every artist knows, every wise person has said it. What you do every day shapes you, and 30 days is the start of any journey that takes you from where you are to where you want to be. By the end of 30 days, it's not just your behavior that changes. It's your self-perception. You see yourself as someone stronger, someone who didn't give up, someone you can trust. And that's true personal growth. Not doing something grand, but becoming someone grand through small daily decisions. And maybe what you need now isn't a new goal, but just the courage to push through the first 30 days with your eyes closed and your heart open. Because your brain will resist, it will test your faith, it will try to negotiate. But if you persist, you'll discover that your greatest power was always inside, waiting for you to take the reins. Many people try to change their lives starting from the wrong place. Brute force. Force to wake up earlier. Force to diet. Force to read 1,000 books. But the problem isn't in the force. It's in the direction. Before any change works, it needs to make sense. It needs to connect with the person you want to become. A habit only lasts if it reflects your future essence. If you want peace, overloading yourself with 1,000 commitments won't help. If you seek clarity, filling your day with distractions won't do. The habit needs to be a seed of your identity, not a soulless obligation. When a habit aligns with your purpose, motivation becomes unnecessary, because it starts to be part of your value system. It's as if the practice stops being effort and becomes expression. Meditating, writing, walking, saying no, it stops being a task and becomes a reflection of who you're already becoming. The habit isn't just an action, it's a silent affirmation. This is the kind of person I am now. And when you recognize yourself in it, the habit takes root, and a rooted habit blossoms. So if you want a powerful habit, start with an honest question. Who do I want to be in 30 days? Then choose one daily action that represents that future version of you, and practice it. Without fanfare, without pressure, without rush. With kindness, with presence, and with the confidence that day by day, you're shaping inside out the life you want to live. And that, my friend, has far more power than any grand promise made in the heat of a Monday night. There's a fine line between habit and routine, and understanding this difference changes the game. A habit is a conscious choice. It's when you decide with intention to repeat an action with purpose. A routine is what happens when that choice becomes automatic. The difference lies at the start. One is born from desire, the other from repetition. That's why every life change begins with a habit, a spark of presence within the unconscious repetition we call routine. Creating a new habit is about interrupting the autopilot for a few minutes each day until it becomes the new natural path. At first, every habit requires effort. Your mind will resist, your body will complain, and the urge to put it off will feel stronger. But by repeating with lightness and consistency, you teach your brain that it matters. And little by little, that effort becomes part of your day. It becomes routine, and that's the secret. Not fighting the routine, but using it to your advantage. You don't need to change everything at once. You just need to add one intentional act to your day, something that represents the new. When it repeats, the routine realigns itself. The old gives way to the new, and personal transformation happens quietly. If you want to create a successful routine, don't start by trying to control the entire day. Start with one gesture, one daily choice that carries intention, presence, and truth. Something that quietly reminds you of who you want to be. That's the power of a simple, powerful habit. Because a well-built routine is nothing more than the sum of well-chosen habits. And in the end, it's this silent sum that defines who you become. You don't need to change 10 things at once to transform your life. Just one. A single, well-chosen habit can open doors you never imagined. It acts like an invisible domino. It topples old patterns, reorganizes priorities, and pulls in other positive behaviors without you noticing. When you start waking up earlier, for example, you naturally sleep better. And by sleeping better, you feel more energy. And with more energy, you make better decisions. And those decisions, well, they change everything. One small gesture lights the first candle, and soon the whole room is illuminated. That's why the simplest habits are the most dangerously transformative. They don't seem grand at first glance, but they carry a silent force that moves entire structures from within. Starting the day with gratitude, writing 3 goals on paper, taking a cold shower, or walking for 10 minutes, these are small but symbolic acts. They're declarations of presence, daily reminders that you're in control, even when the outside world insists otherwise. A powerful habit carries within it the courage of someone who decided to stop waiting. So, if you're facing chaos, mental clutter, or doubt about where to start, don't try to fix everything. Choose one habit that connects with the person you want to become. And repeat it. Every day, without drama, without skipping steps. And then watch. The domino effect will begin. The invisible pieces of your life will start to realign. And when you realize it, what seemed like disorder has become a path. Your path. In the first days of any new habit, your mind becomes a battlefield. It's as if an old version of you, the one that knows the comfort of stagnation, whispers in your ear, "Why bother now? You never finish anything. Leave it for tomorrow." And that voice is cunning, seductive, almost convincing. It doesn't shout. It manipulates with kindness. But that voice isn't the truth. It's just the echo of who you were. And to change your life, you'll need to learn to walk even with it talking. The key is to act even without feeling like it. Not fighting the sabotaging thoughts, but simply ignoring them with elegance. You don't need to feel ready, motivated, or enlightened to practice a habit. You just need to show up, sit and write, walk even without energy, meditate even with noise in your head. Consistency beats chaos. And gentle discipline, the kind that says, "just for today," dismantles self-sabotage far more effectively than any internal shout of pressure. Over time, that voice gets weaker, not because it disappears, but because you stop obeying it. And in that moment, true inner strength is born. When you realize you no longer need to wait for motivation to act. That's freedom. That's mental reprogramming. That's emotional maturity. And the most beautiful part? It all starts with one decision. To keep going even when your old self begs you to stop. Because with every choice made in that conflict, you bury what no longer serves you and cultivate what's here to stay. At first, the habit seems to have no effect. You do the task, look around, and nothing's changed. No trophy, no radical transformation, no audience applauding. And that's where many give up, because they don't understand that the real gift is in the invisible. The deepest reward of a habit isn't in what it gives you, but in who it forces you to become. Persisting builds emotional muscle. It's silently telling the world, "I keep going, even without an audience, even without guarantees." And that, by itself, puts you on a different inner level. When you stick with something that seems small for 30 days, you discover you're capable of so much more. You realize you're reliable. that you can keep promises to yourself. And that's one of the most transformative feelings there is, regaining trust in yourself. No salary, praise, or external achievement can replace that, because that trust becomes structure. It becomes identity. And little by little, without noticing, you're no longer just doing something. You're someone different, stronger, more present, more whole. That's the beauty of habits that change your life. They don't shine at the start, but they light the way when you look back. And when you realize who you've become along the way, everything changes. Haste gives way to patience, doubt makes room for clarity, and discipline becomes freedom. Because now you know, in practice, not theory, that everything you want starts with a simple decision, showing up for yourself every day, even when no one is watching. Now that you've understood the silent power of a simple habit, only one question remains. Will you keep waiting for the ideal life, or will you start building it, one gesture at a time? The truth is, there's no magic change, but there is a path, and that path starts within you. Every day you honor a small choice, you prove to yourself that you're capable, that you no longer need to live on autopilot. That transformation doesn't come from outside. It comes from what you repeat when no one is watching. So tell me, what's the habit you'll practice for the next 30 days? Share it in the comments. It helps you commit and inspires others who are starting too. If this video brought you clarity, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and allow yourself to continue on this journey of personal growth and self-awareness.